Hi everyone, in this video I will demonstrate coding some components with the help of AI or vibe coding with the plugin Code Companion. As you know, you can find the plugin by clicking the plugin button at top right and searching, or I will also put the link for it in the description if you need, alongside with the remix link of the finished file. So I'm gonna select the plugin here. I pasted this prompt beforehand after some edits. The only downside of the plugin is not having any edit options, but we can just copy the existing code and prompt the edits we want. As far as I see, there aren't any other limitations with the plugin, and it's really great to be able to vibe code without even leaving Framer. So let's get started with our first prompt, which is coding a plugin that translates the word that's entered to native phonetic alphabet, which you might know or certainly come across in some movies, TV series, etc., like using alpha to code letter A, Bravo for B, etc. I'm not going to read the whole prompt, but basically in our first prompt I'm describing NPA Translator and what I need in its UI, like input box, button, and the customization options of the plugin, like input box color, text color, etc. Of course, you can pause the video and read the whole thing. First, I will copy the prompt text and clicking plugins on top left, and I'm gonna select Code Companion. If you don't see it here, you can just type in the search box Code Companion, or you can get the plugin from the link in the description, as I said. As you see, plugins UI is fairly simple and easy to use. You need to just type your prompt here or paste like I did and hit the send button, and the plugin starts to generate the code according to the prompt you entered. It takes a while for a plugin to generate the code, which is perfectly normal, and when it generates, we can see it even provides the instructions on how to use the code. So I will click copy code like instructed here, and then click the assets panel, clicking plus next to code on that panel. I'm gonna select new code file, simply name it NPA, and select and delete the existing code and paste the code that I've copied, then save the file and go back to home screen. Now we can see there is a new component under the components section, and I'm just gonna drag it to my design here, and like we prompted, you can see all the customizations here under the component properties, and we can start customizing it, like changing input background, and I don't need the border for my input box, so I'm gonna make its opacity 0, and then input text color, I'm gonna pick the lightest color in my palette, and for the button color, I'm gonna pick the blue in my palette, and for the button text, again, to keep the palette consistent, I'm gonna select the lightest color I have here, and for the reset button, I'm gonna select turquoise, and the general text button is gonna be, again, the lightest color I have here. So let's preview and test our component. I'm gonna simply enter the word design and hit the translate button, and as you see, perfectly gives us the results, and we can copy. As I said, we forgot to prompt a tooltip after copying, but if I paste the text, as you see, it is perfectly copied. To document my prompts, first I'm gonna enter my edit here. To edit the existing code, of course, we need to first actually copy the code itself and open the plugin, paste the code, and we can just copy our edit from our document and paste, and click send. Now we can copy our new code and open our code file, delete the existing code and paste the new one, and save it, go back to home screen, and for some reason I'm seeing an error. Let's check the code. Oh yeah, because we've edited the code, as I see it, plugin edits some text at the very top. I'm just going to delete it and save the code, go back, and as I see it, our component appears in our design. So I'm going to preview it again and enter the word design, click translate, and I'm going to click the copy button and it says copy it in a tooltip as we prompted. Actually, we can make one more edit. Of course, there are some spacing issues here, but I'm not gonna spend any time editing those details, since the purpose of this video is just demonstrating some vibe coding with a Framer plugin. As I see it, we cannot translate by pressing the enter key. We can also add that functionality. So again, to keep my prompts documented, I'm gonna enter a second edit. Then what I need to do is again copying the code, opening the plugin, pasting the code, and copying my edit and pasting it here, and click send button. As I see it, plugin generated the new code, so I'm gonna copy it and update the code. Let's delete the JavaScript at the very top again and save again. Let's test our component. So type design again, enter, and as you see, it translates when we also press the enter key. As a second example, we're gonna generate a simple color generator, which is gonna have just a button which says generate, and when we click it, it's gonna give us 5 color boxes, and we're gonna be able to simply color the color hex code of a square just by clicking on it. Let me copy the prompt. As you see, I did edit the prompt a few times beforehand to keep the tutorial shorter, to generate a component as I want. So after copying the prompt, I'm gonna open the code companion and paste the prompt and wait for component to generate the required code. After copying the code, I'm gonna create a new code file, name it simply colorgen, delete the existing code, it's the new one, and save it. Go back to home screen and drag the component to my design and just start customizing the button. Now we can check our color generator. As you see, we have the colors here, and once we click any color box, we can just copy the hex code. We can generate as much as we want, and we can copy all of the hex codes, and we can test how we copy the codes. As you see, we have all the color hex codes of our palette here. The last example we're gonna generate is gonna be a contrast checker. Basically, we're gonna have 2 input boxes for color hex codes for a background and a foreground color. And when we click check contrast button, it's gonna give us the exact contrast ratio, and it's gonna show us if our contrast is enough for WCAG, AA, and AAA standards. So again, I'm gonna copy the whole prompt, open the plugin, paste the prompt, and hit enter and wait for code to be generated. Once the code is ready, after copying it, I'm gonna create a new code file and name it contrast checker, and delete the existing code, paste the new one, go back to home screen and drag the new component to my design and customize the colors. Let's preview and test our contrast checker. Let's say our background color is going to be some dark gray like 222, and the foreground is going to be something like AAA. And as I see it, due to WCAG AA standards, our contrast passes, but due to AAA, it fails. We can copy the hex codes and see the copy tooltip, or even reset to check some new color. So that wraps up our tests. Overall, plugin looks really great. As I said, editing looks a little challenging, but it's completely possible by just copying the existing code and entering modification prompt like we did in the first example. It's nice not to have any other limitations as far as I know, and it's great to be able to generate some code or do some vibe coding without even leaving the framer, as I said. I hope you liked the tutorial. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, check my other tutorials, and see you in the next one.